What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bodacious Rant with Burn and Rye. Hope everybody's doing good. Well, thank you for all tuning in and checking out our latest review of the newest horror movie to grace us 2024, which, if you're a horror fan, as they say, we have been eating quite well. So this is the movie from a random director I've never really heard of. So for those of you who are fans of his, feel free to let us know what you thought of their other movies. Tillman Singer is the director, and this movie is called it's a Cuckoo or Cuckoo. How do you kind of say it, to be honest?
I've only ever heard it as Cuckoo, not Cuckoo. Cuckoo's a different thing.
I mean, well, because I know there's Cuckold, but I was thinking about it like because I know it's Cuckoo, but I'm thinking of like. Technically, it's not spelled that way, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Yeah, Cuckoo, starring Hunger Schafer from Euphoria and Kinds of Kindness this year.
Also that Hunger Games movie, right?
That's right. She was in the Hunger Games last year, which was just whatever. Also has Martin Soskis or Koskis. I can't say his name, but he was kind of the bad guy for a lot of early 2000s movies, Triple X.
The best Mission Impossible movie.
The best, yeah, sure. I still haven't seen that one. Jessica Henwick and Dan Stevens, who I think the first thing I ever saw him in was a movie you showed me back in college. The what's that Netflix horror movie?
The Guest.
The Guest. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, that was great. And ever since then, he's actually got a pretty decent character range, I would say.
He's having a year.
Yeah, Godzilla vs. Kong, New Empire, this one.
Abigail,
that's right. Oh my god. Yeah, he really is having a good year. Good for him. This is a non-spoiler review, everyone, so don't worry about any spoilers. But however, if you do like the video, don't forget to give us that like. We appreciate that. Ring the bell for notifications, and of course subscribe just to keep joining the Rant community and always, stay in touch with us. But anyways... so this is a pretty straightforward horror movie storyline for the most part, where a girl, she's a young, Hunter Schafer plays Gretchen, 17-year-old girl, just moved in with her dad and her family in this resort area in the Alps. And, she gets a part-time job at the resort by Dan Stevens, who's the creepy owner and stuff like that. Not necessarily creepy, just weird. Just a little eccentric, a little weird guy, kind of Erlkönig, as they call him. And as she's working it, she's starting to notice some weird things, like don't stay out past 10 o'clock. He has to drive her home, all this kind of weird stuff. And also, that's basically it. I don't want to spoil it too much, because actually the trailer does leave out a lot of important stuff about the story. So I think that's actually pretty good for the marketing not to talk about that stuff. And I was really looking forward to this all year because, Hunter Schafer, even though I can't stand her character in Euphoria, I think she's a great actor herself. And yeah, it was good. I kind of have to see it again. Maybe I just wasn't in the best mood because I thought it was just okay. So maybe I wasn't quite into it. It's kind of hard to tell. So my rating may change later this year, if we ever bring it up again, like for our, top 10 of the year or something like that. But overall, I thought it was okay. A little formulaic, but there was some good twists to this, like, traditional storyline, if that makes sense. Bern, what did you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed this movie, actually. This is another one of those horror movies that really scratches my particular itch. It's one of those where, you have your character put into a scenario that they're like, they're out of their element essentially, and a lot of weird stuff starts happening. And the more things that you uncover and the deeper you go into the movie, the weirder things get. So this is definitely right up my alley in terms of my particular taste with horror. So I did really enjoy that aspect, the whole narrative kind of unfolding in a manner where it's like, things are just like not what they appear to be. And those are always fun, where, you come into a new environment, people are weird and they act like not like normal people would. And Dan Stevens did just a fantastic job. Like we mentioned, he's having quite the year, and in this one he is particularly fun. But yeah, he does a good job of setting the tone of like, there's something off about this place. Obviously, you're coming into a horror movie, there's something wrong with the place that they're in, but just the way they sell it, it's kind of gave me like some Twin Peaks vibes, where characters are just like not acting normally and stuff. And we have our character Hunter Schafer is just kind of, it's fun that she's sort of aware of it, like just calling things out like this is not normal. And so this makes it a very relatable character to kind of like have as your main character. So that was a lot of fun, and I thought her performance was great. But yeah, once you get into the horror things, the horror aspects of it, which I don't want to say too much on, but yeah, like it did leave me wanting a little bit more in terms of what it was. I thought the twist of it, what it is, it was interesting. I thought they could have just gone a little bit more into, I don't know, I guess the extravagance of it all to put it as like broadly as I could, if that makes any sort of sense.
Yeah, I think I get you. For me personally, I was hoping for a little more buildup of horror on this one. But and that's why like it's traditional. The storyline is traditional, where it's just this girl's thrown into a situation they don't want to be in, but then they just keep, kind of like you said, they just keep going down the rabbit hole and discover something horrible. But I will say the antagonist slash creature is essentially very different, but so that was kind of, I respect that change, that little twist to it. Dan Stevens, again, like you said, just awesome. He's just plays a villain so well. I didn't really think some of the other actors were necessary, like like Jessica Henwick, Martin, like Soskis. Like, why do they even have to be in this movie? They could have literally gotten anyone else, and I think it would have been fine. But there were still some cool moments to it. A very interesting lore created here. But overall, yeah, it just kind of fell flat. Maybe I was expecting more scares involved, and instead it was just kind of more of like a weird, surreal, kind of like twist on that thing. More of like a sci-fi horror, if anything. So with that all being said, again, this is subject to change, but as of now, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, just because it was good. I liked the actors. I liked. I think the setting was really well done. Like, some of the set pieces were really cool. Otherwise it was just okay. So yeah.
Yeah, this one is a lot more for the psychological horror fans, where, but yeah, it has a lot to do with just the weirdness and the vibes of it all. The tone of this movie is very off kilter. I think it's shot really well. Really cool use of camera work here. Had a little bit of a throwback vibe to it. I don't know if they shot on film, but it felt like it. And the score too. I really did dig the score for the movie, and the needle drops that they used throughout the movie were fun choices in that they're not ones that you would just immediately pick up like, oh, I know that. So it's not a popular song, but it works within the context of the movie. But yeah, I dug the psychological horror aspects of it, the mystery of it all, the fun idea that they play around with in this movie, and the surprising amount of heart in this movie too that I did really like in particular, with Hunter Schafer's character, and also Mila Liu's character who plays her younger sister. I thought that sort of aspect of it really worked for me, and was something that I wasn't coming into this movie expecting. So yeah, for all those reasons, for me, this one is going to be a 4 out of 5. Again, horror and comedy are super subjective, so this is really going to depend on your tastes of what you like going in. But for people who have the same similar interests that I do with like the horror movies, I think this one is definitely worth checking out for sure.
For sure. No, that's very fair. Yeah, maybe it just wasn't my taste, but maybe if I see it again, maybe I'll conform a little bit and I'll see what you mean. But the comedy was definitely there. There was definitely some, I would say, dry humor for the most part. Like, you did kind of have to pick up on the jokes, or else it would just be like, what are you guys talking about? But
yeah, Hunter Schafer should do some comedies. I mean, Dan Stevens is having a lot of fun in his roles lately, so he can definitely do them. But yeah, Hunter really surprised me with her performance here.
She has some really good timing with some of her lines. So yeah, they did slap when they landed. But yeah, for those of you who did happen to catch this movie, feel free to let us know in the comments what you thought of it. Otherwise, go check it out. Come on back and let us know then. Let's keep the conversation going. And until next time, everyone, just stay bodacious and keep on ranting for us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and as always, we'll catch y'all on the next one.